What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel and JWAC Gridiron, of course. We are coming at you with, well, it's my last draft video of the 2024 draft cycle. I don't know if it's JWAC's, but we're finally getting to the way too early 2025 NFL mock draft. But before we get into it, me and my dear friend here have something that we do want to unveil to you guys. We're working on something for the past couple weeks. It's finally come to fruition, and we are going to roll it out starting right after the 2024 NFL draft. So, why don't you take it away and get him into it a little bit here? What we're going to be working
So,
on.
so we have been working on one of the most in-depth, comprehensive draft guides for you guys to have access to. But not only will you have access to a draft guide, there will be exclusive player interviews, fantasy league with all of you guys, Friday night film sessions, lots of exclusive content under the name The Dashing Draft Guide. So we're going to leave that linked down in the description in the pinned comment. So you guys are going to have access to a lot of very exclusive content and our draft guide. Now, the guide itself, still a work in progress. We are still in the lab constructing that, getting our evaluations done. So that'll be live in about a month. But for $5 per month, you're going to get access to that. You're going to get access to player interviews, which after this is uploaded, there will be a player interview with Anthony Belton from NC State, an interview that I had this past week. There will be stuff uploaded on there all throughout. You guys are going to get a very comprehensive experience, and it's something we're really excited about, and I think you guys are going to love it.
Yeah, not to mention to build on top of that, those Friday film sessions, those will be live on Patreon as well. So we're really excited about that as well. That's just, we're going to be breaking down players, talking about praise, looking at film, all the PFF statistics, all that we have everything at our disposal, and we're willing to share it with you guys as well. So I think that that's a pretty sweet deal. $5 a month. I don't think you can go wrong for that. I know JWAC does some amazing, unbelievable content. I like to think I do some as well. And to mention as well, we're going to be doing my prospect profiles, his player spotlights. You're going to get early access to those as well. So we have those put together for the most part about a week in advance. So you'll be able to get early access to those videos as well. There's a ton of stuff, player rankings. I mean, we're probably going to log off of this recording and say, oh my God, we forgot about that. We have so much stuff ready for you guys. And I think it's going to be an incredibly immersive experience, and you'll never be more ready for the NFL draft. And speaking of the NFL draft, the 2025 way too early mock draft is going to start. I want to give you the number one overall pick, obviously, because we both know who we would take number one overall at this point.
Yeah, and it helps that I'm a Vols fan, so maybe I'm a little biased here, but I don't know if I've seen a more dominant pass rusher over the last few years in college than James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. He is unbelievable. He looks a little small sometimes when you watch him, but he's got incredible quickness. He's powerful. He's got an array of pass rush moves. He's one of the best college edge rushers that I think I've seen in my short time doing this. He's right up there with Will Anderson, and I don't know if he's better. I'm going to have to fully immerse into his game, but they're very close for me. I think James Pierce is the best player in this class. I'm going to take him number one to Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, there's really nothing more than you could say that you already said. I do love that pick, and I think he's going to be an absolute beast. I'm super excited. I hope he doesn't fall into that Harold Perkins category that we saw this year. Remember last year, everyone was like, oh my God, Harold Perkins is going to be the number one overall pick when he's eligible. Then he kind of had a little bit of a slide back. Still going to be a tremendous player, but I really hope James Pierce just keeps getting better and better. For me, number two overall, I'm still looking at the New England Patriots offensive line, and I'm still seeing a little bit of a hole on the left side there. I'm going to take Will Campbell here, number two overall. I just think, you got your franchise quarterback. They really, really established their offense over this weekend. I mean, I believe the only defensive pick that they made was Marcellus Dial. Everything else was wide receiver, offensive line, quarterback. You have your quarterback now. Let's make sure you can protect him. Will Campbell, in my opinion, early on is the best offensive lineman in the entire class.
Yeah, Will Campbell, a lot of good things I've heard about him. Excited to look into him a bit more. At number three, the Denver Broncos. This is a tough one. That's always tough to make a pick for the Broncos. They brought in Chris Abrams-Drain. I liked that pickup, but I still think the secondary could use some improvement. I also think the front could use some improvement as well. And I'm going to go with the defensive lineman here in Mason Graham from Michigan. He was absolutely incredible for the Wolverines this past season. If you watched him in the national championship, he was everywhere the entire game. I think he's going to be a dynamic force. He's disruptive. He's good against the run and the pass. I'm going to take him number 3 to Denver.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Number 4, you have the Tennessee Titans here. By the way, this is not a draft order that we made. This is what PFF gave us, so we're just going off of what they gave us here. With Tennessee, I think there's going to be a massive improvement from Will Levis just because of what they were able to accomplish. They're truly building around him. J.C. Latham signing Calvin Ridley. Hopefully Treylon Burks comes around as well. I think that this might be the end of DeAndre Hopkins in Tennessee this year. I think I'm going to want to continue that investment and continue to try and make a better offense for everyone. And I'm going to take Luther Burden here at number 4. I know it's crazy. Imagine 2 years in a row with a wide receiver going number 4 overall. That'd be interesting. But I think Luther Burden, in my opinion, is the early favorite to be the best wide receiver on the board.
Yeah, he's awesome. We got asked in our live stream, where would Luther Burden be in this draft class? He probably would have gone in the first round this year. He's super athletic. He creates separation. He's got great hands. I would hate that as a Colts fan, but it makes a lot of sense for the Titans.
Yeah.
At number 5 for the Giants, they didn't take a quarterback this year. I fully expect them to take a quarterback next year, and I think Carson Beck is the best quarterback in this draft class. He's very accurate with the football. He's athletic. He's mobile, has good footwork, reads the field extremely well. I love what he would be able to provide for the Giants, and I think he's an instant upgrade over Daniel Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. That might be a hot take for some people, but I'm in full agreement with you at this point. Early on, I think Carson Beck just has it. I do think Shadur Sanders is a fantastic player in his own right, but I do think that Beck just has the more NFL qualities that you're looking for from, a true passer of the football. At 6 with Washington here, I would love to take Will Johnson here because I do think that a massive secondary upgrade is needed. I feel like, though, with Travis Hunter still on the board, it seems like a little bit more of a splash. He's not going to be a two-way player at the NFL level. He might be a little bit, but he's not going to be one of those guys that's playing, he's not going to get 10 catches on offense, and he's not going to play every single snap defensively. He's going to have to choose one or the other. I think, personally, he's a better corner than he is a wide receiver. I think that's what he sticks with at the NFL level, and I think Washington takes Travis Hunter here.
Yeah, Travis Hunter's awesome. It's going to be interesting to see kind of if Colorado plays him on both sides full time again or kind of where the direction they go. But I love the Travis Hunter pick. At number 7, I want to go Will Johnson again, but Arizona did such a good job improving their secondary with Elijah Jones and Max Melton. And then obviously Garrett Williams is going to be healthy. Dadrian Taylor-Demerson. Like the secondary doesn't look like a weakness for them anymore. And I think their front 7 could use some improvement. I like the move they made on the offensive line. I'm going to go with Nick Scourton. It says Purdue on here. He transferred to Texas A&M, so I think he's dynamic, great size, really good athleticism. They didn't really address edge in this draft the way I would have liked to see. I know they got Darius Robinson, but it's going to be interesting to see where they kind of move him on the defensive line. I think Scourton's more that true edge pass rusher that this team is looking for. And I'm going to pair him with BJ Ojulari at 7.
Yeah, that's really, really nice. I like that as well. And this is a stacked, early on, it seems like it's a stacked edge class. It's a stacked cornerback class. So we're going to see a lot of these guys fly off the board here. With the 8th pick here with the Minnesota Vikings, I do feel like there needs to be an upgrade on the interior of the defensive line here for them. I think they did a great job in this past draft getting Dallas Turner, upgrading the secondary as well, getting Kyrie Jackson. I thought that was great. So again, I feel bad. I'm going to hold off on Will Johnson here just a little bit. I think I'm going to take Walter Nolan here at number 8.
Yeah, Nolan was one of the big names in the transfer portal. He's way down here.
Yeah, I think he's got it. I don't know why he's so far down.
Yeah, we're just gonna look him up because I'm not doing this. Yeah, but Walter Nolan's super athletic, going to an Ole Miss team that I think is better suited for his skill set. I think he's going to be awesome. I like that pick for Minnesota. And I know that Vegas didn't draft a quarterback. They also really didn't address the secondary the way I thought that they could have. And I'm taking Will Johnson here over a quarterback. I think he's one of the better cornerback prospects that we've seen in quite some time. I don't think there's any chance he falls out of the top 10 early on. Who knows what happens in the season, but I'm going to take him at number 9 and pass on a quarterback.
Yeah, well, if you're going to pass on a quarterback, they're a team that could have been a sneaky quarterback option this past draft here. I know that they have Sam Howell. They traded for him, so they do see some type of vision there. Also, they still have Geno Smith, but if he's still sitting here at 10 and Seattle is number 10, give me Shedeur Sanders all day long here.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Shedeur Sanders. They don't like the antics or whatever. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Shedeur Sanders is a very good quarterback.
Yeah.
If he had a different last name, we'd be looking at him a little bit differently, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
At number 11, the New Orleans Saints are on the clock, and I still think offensive line is a major issue for this team. They got Talise Fuaga, but they still need help on the left side. They also need help they need help really everywhere on that offensive line, to be completely honest. Who knows what Ryan Ramczyk's future holds? I'm going to take Kelvin Banks from Texas. I know I believe he's a true right tackle. I'm going to take him, though. Hope to move him to the left side. Very good, very productive for Texas this past season. I think he's going to be a really good starter in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a beast. I like that a lot here. At number 12, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm definitely taking Benjamin Morrison here. An upgrade in the secondary is needed. I was thinking Malachi Starks, but a true alpha corner on the boundary. I was going to say primary on the boundary is exactly what Tampa Bay needs. After getting Chris Braswell, for me, really makes me think that after the last 2 drafts, they're kind of well and good when it comes to the edge rushing position. So I think they really need to hunker down on the secondary here. Hey, you get your Indianapolis Colts at number 13.
Yeah, and going back to that Morrison pick, from the little bit I've watched, he was the only corner that I saw like really shut down Marvin Harrison Jr. He couldn't get anything going against Ben Morrison. So I think he's going to be a fantastic player at the NFL level. And Tampa, I like that secondary they're building. At 13, the Colts, correct me if I'm wrong. I would like your opinion. There's not very many holes on this roster after the draft. I think receiver's good. Edge is good now with Latu. The defensive interior is good. There's a lot of I think they've got a really sound roster all around. I do think the safety room maybe could improve a little bit. They brought in Jalen Simpson. They brought in Jalen Carleys. Not really guys that I'm in love with. I know Malachi Starks is here. I'm going to go with the boundary corner, though. Harold Perkins is tempting because I think the linebacker room, as much as I like it, Harold Perkins would be an upgrade. But I'm actually going to go down the board here and take Jabbar Muhammad from It says Washington. He's transferring to Oregon this year. He's awesome, was a huge part of that Huskies defense this year. I think he gives the Colts a true number 1 boundary corner here that I don't think they really have yet. So I'm going to take him at 13.
Yeah, I like that a lot. A little bit of a surprise there for me, but this is an interesting one with the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 14. Defensive line, we know that they love to build, from the line, defensive line, offensive line. Clearly, after this past weekend, they love to build their offensive line, as you could tell, completely revamped the offensive line from top to bottom. I think I'm going to have to go with a corner here. I think that was the one position that I think they could have drafted early on that they didn't really attack here. So I'm going to take Dakario Davis at number 14.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy on if he's in the portal, if he's not. I don't think he's in the portal, but he's very good for Arizona. Him and Ephesians Prysock were very good for Arizona last year. So I like that pickup for the Steelers to pair with Joey Porter Jr. The Rams here at 15, I would love to go Deontay Walker here because I think he makes a ton of sense. But again, this is a team I think addressed the front of their defensive line really well. So I'm going to go somewhere different. I'm actually going to draft a quarterback here. I thought they were going to go Spencer Rattler. They decided not to. Quinn Ewers is interesting. The deep ball does worry me because he can't connect ever on a deep ball. It doesn't seem. There's some good quarterbacks in this class. I think a lot of people are hating on it early. I like Jackson Dart down the board, but I'm going to take Jalen Milroe. I think the athletic upside is certainly there. He's got a ridiculous arm. Reminds me a lot of Joe Milton from last year, kind of the preseason guy that I think everyone's going to fall in love with. He's got to improve his footwork at times in the pocket, but I think he could be a home run here at 15 to the Rams.
Yeah, I like that a lot actually. And someone that has incredible pocket awareness as well. We talked about that um, earlier this week, and someone that I feel like is in that same ish kind of range as Shadur Sanders, as people love to hate on him just to hate on him. But Jalen Milrow, when it comes down to it, actually is a really good player of the quarterback position. I think if we see a little bit more development from him this year, I think he's going to be right up there in that top echelon of quarterbacks for 2025. 16 here, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars, whether we like it or not, really bolstered their defensive line. Two LSU picks of well, it was Mason
Mason
Smith
Smith,
and it was
Jordan
Jordan
Jefferson.
Jefferson as well. Yes, I'm drawing a blank there. A lot of names flying by. So I'm going to take an offensive tackle here. I think that was something they took Javon Foster, but Foster to me, 24 years old, not really athletic. Don't really know how much I love that fit there. Give me Emory Jones here at number
Yeah.
16.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. He's going to shore up the right side of that line. Cleveland at 17, very interesting. I still think defensive line they could go. They drafted Michael Hall. Dalvin Tomlinson is not a long-term solution. I like Deone Walker. I think the value there is kind of ridiculous, to be completely honest. Also, receiver. I don't know how much longer Amari Cooper has. They've got like a bunch of guys in that receiver room. I'm not in love with really any of them except Jamari Thrash. But I'm going to go Deone Walker here and just get some long-term solutions on that defensive front. They like to rotate guys in and out. You get Walker with Myles Garrett and Michael Hall. That defensive front could look nasty for a long time in Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree with you there. 18 here for the Chicago Bears. And I'm not going to lie, I don't really think the Chicago Bears have that many holes in their roster at this point. I'm thinking maybe interior offensive line is something that they might be able to work on here a little bit. I'm thinking Tyler Booker here, and I think that's who I'm going to take. I think for me, it's either going to be a secondary pick, maybe a safety, or it's going to be interior offensive line. I'm going to take Tyler Booker here at number 18.
Yeah, not a guy I'm too familiar with, but I've heard good things about him. It's got to be Tetero McMillan here at 19. I know they brought in Lad McConkey, they brought in Cornelius Johnson, they brought in Brendan Rice. None of those guys are Tetero McMillan. The size, I think the physicality at the catch point, he's faster than I think people realize. I'm very high on Tetero McMillan. I think 19 is a very good spot for him.
Yeah. The Houston Texans didn't really address interior defensive line like I thought they would in the draft. I think they're good for right now. Long term, I really like what Mason Graham can bring to the table for them here. So I know he's probably a little bit down there. Let's
I
see.
don't think Mason Graham, I think we took it. We took
Oh,
him at
did we?
30.
Oh shit, that's right. Okay, let's go back to that. Let me see those defensive tackles there real quick. I think I saw someone I wanted to take instead. Yeah, I'm probably going to take Tyleik Williams there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to run that back and just edit that part out?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
All right, number 20 here, the Houston Texans. This is a team that I thought going into the draft was going to seriously attack the interior defensive line position. Didn't really see that too much here. I think that they're good with what they have right now. Going forward, you know that D'Amico Ryans loves his defensive line. Those guys that come from San Francisco, that coaching tree, love the defensive line rotations. Give me Tyleik Williams here, someone that really in the 2024 draft process was outshining Michael Hall Jr. and then
Mhm.
decided to go back to school. So I think that a massive upgrade in draft position is coming for Williams here.
Yeah, I'm there. And then you get the Jet tier at 21.
You don't have to do that. But all right, I guess I'm going to go with one of my favorite players in the entire class here at number 21 for my New York Jets. I'm going to go with Malachi Starks. They didn't upgrade the safety position in the draft. I think that they have something coming. They did trade John Franklin Myers to free up about $7 million in cap. So I'm thinking that they're going to bring in some type of free agent on a 1-year deal. But long term, adding Malachi Starks to a secondary that has Michael Carter, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed. They added Quantez Stiggers as well. Maybe someone that they're looking to move over to safety. Give me Malachi Starks and just keep bolstering that secondary.
Yeah, I love that pick for them. I think I'm going to go corner again or secondary here for the Falcons. think they could definitely use an upgrade here. Looking down the board here, trying to see if there's anyone that I like. I'm going to go Denzel Burke, a guy that had some first round buzz this past season. They didn't address secondary the way I thought they were going to. Instead, they took Michael Penix Jr. So it is what it is. But I think Denzel Burke will be a very nice fit for this defense on the opposite side of AJ Terrell. Physical, saw major improvements in 2023 from the previous years. I like this for him in Atlanta at 22.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. We were hot and cold on him in the 2024 draft process.
Yeah.
And then we were starting to get a little bit more hot on him when he decided to go back to school. But we know when it comes to the Miami Dolphins lately, it seems like they kind of throw logic out the window, or at least the logical pick out the window here. I know that they just took Chop Robinson, but if Harold Perkins is sitting here, that has to be one of the most athletic duos at the outside linebacker position out there. Give me Harold Perkins all day long here at 23 for the Miami
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Yeah, it makes sense because the Dolphins like to do things that don't make sense. So if you don't think
Yeah,
about
but
it,
imagine this. Phillips coming off of a really bad injury. Bradley Chubb is probably coming towards the end of his time in Miami anyway.
yeah.
They lost Andrew Van Ginkel. Chop Robinson takes Van Ginkel's spot. Perkins takes one of those other two guys' spots. And right then and there, you have two unbelievable athletes for the position.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. At 24, the Packers kind of am thinking an edge rusher here, maybe a defensive tackle. I'm going to go with Princely Uman out of Ole Miss now. This guy is an athletic freak. He's got elite bend outside. I think you can move him around the defensive line. He's got great size. I thought he was going to come out this year, and I thought he would have been a second rounder. Now I think he's going to really boost his stock by going to Ole Miss. I got him to Green Bay at 24.
Yeah, 25 here with the Dallas Cowboys. This is going to seem like a very Dallas Cowboys pick. We know how high they were on Jonathan Brooks. What is their running back room even looking like right now? They're in serious consideration in bringing back Zeke Elliott at this point. Ollie Gordon just seems like that guy that would be that new bell cow, unbelievable running back. This is a stacked running back class.
Yeah.
For as wide open as we thought the 2024 class was, this 2025 class, I feel like is a ton of can't miss prospects. Ollie Gordon is as good as they come. Give me Ollie Gordon to Dallas here.
Yeah, I love that pick. I considered quarterback there as well, but Ollie Gordon would be awesome for this team. 26, I think I'm going to go Abdul Carter here. Linebacker still remains a sneaky need for me for the Eagles. Abdul Carter, they're moving him to edge. I think he offers some versatility, but he's got good coverage abilities. Wore the sticks there at Penn State. Give me Abdul Carter at 26.
Yeah, I love that there. For what I'm thinking about, Carter's so good. You forget about with all the, it really is just a stacked class. It's just, he's so good. Detroit here, I'm thinking about a couple different things. I'm looking wide receiver here right away. I'm also looking at offensive line. Emeka Ibuka is interesting there. Colston Loveland would be like my shot in the dark there. But let me see the wide receivers that we have on the board currently here. I was thinking Isaiah Bond. That might be a little too rich for my blood here at this point. Yeah, give me Evan Stewart here out of, well, now Oregon. So he's going to be a really nice combination, Dylan Gabriel and Evan Stewart. Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Evan Stewart would be awesome.
Yeah, the Bengals here at 28. They're a team that I think drafted really well. They took Jermaine Burton. I think maybe you could look edge because we don't really know the long-term situation there with Trey Hendrickson. I think edge is probably where I want to go. Some good edge rushers, as you've said. I like Patrick Payton quite a bit from Florida State. I think I'm going to go with Ashton Gelati here from Louisville. This guy was a pressure machine. He just seemed to get in the backfield every single play last year for Louisville. Was very good. I like this fit for him at 28. I think he's a perfect true edge there for that Cincinnati defense.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You did a great prospect spotlight on him as well. I'm glad that you didn't take Peyton there because that's who I'm going to take to the Buffalo Bills here. I really love those. I don't know what it is about Florida State edge rushers, but he is just awesome. And I think he's going to develop really, really well over the season, kind of like what we saw with Jared Verse. I think we're going to see with Peyton here. I like that fit a lot. And that's a sneaky need for the – they did draft Javon Solomon, right?
They did, yes.
They drafted Javon Solomon. I like that as a day 3 pick, but Patrick Payton is someone from day 1 that I think is going to make a massive impact on that defensive line.
Yeah, I like that a lot. At number 30, we got the Ravens, another team that I think is pretty sound all around. I think I might go tackle here for them as well, though. They got their right tackle. Some good tackles in this class as well. Very good tackles. I like Johnny Cornelius here out of Oregon. I think he's going to be a very good player this upcoming season. To be that left tackle of the future, Ronnie Stanley getting towards the end of his contract, getting up there in age. I'm going to get a Johnny Cornelius here at 30 to be that long-term left tackle replacement.
Yeah. With the San Francisco 49ers here at number 31, what I'm thinking here is you look at their roster, you look at interior. I mean, obviously, offensive line would be, like a no-brainer here. I'm looking more on the defensive side, though. I think we saw just how urgent they are to draft offensive linemen after drafting Dominic Pooney. That's someone that has some real versatility all along the offensive line. You could make a legitimate case for him starting at all 5 positions. I think they're okay right now. So I want to take a look at the interior defensive line players here. And I think that's where they go because it seems like a little bit of a jumbled mess here. They released Eric Armstead as well. So I really like, no, that's not who I'm going to go with. Yeah, I think Dante Corleone is someone that was one of the highest graded interior defensive players in the 2024 draft class. He decided to go back to school. And I think that that's a perfect plug and play player for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I like that, especially because they've got so many impending free agents on the defensive
Yeah.
side of the ball. I think that makes a lot of sense. The final pick here, I mean, I really don't know where the Chiefs go. I'm just going to take a luxury pick here, take Quinshawn Judkins at
Yeah.
32. I love Judkins. I think I like him more than Ollie Gordon early on. I think he's a good receiving back. He does everything extremely well. I'm going to take Ollie Gordon to wrap this up. But guys, that's going to do it. If you guys want to join the Patreon, that's going to be linked down below. Stuff will be uploaded there immediately. So be sure to go check that out. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Any final thoughts from you?
Patreon, Patreon, Patreon.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.